Hi, I'm Jackie from Jackie's Poetic Justice. Meet Jacob Chensley, one of the January 6th rioters. After being released from jail, he's doing an interview with BBC News. Check out what he has to say.
Pardoned Jacob Chensley, known to many online as QAnon Shaman. He faced federal charges of knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority and with violent entry and disorderly conduct on the Capitol grounds. He pleaded guilty to unlawfully obstructing the certification of the 2020 presidential election. He served 41 months in jail and was released early. I asked him about that day.
If you mean like the law that I broke, I entered the building illegally. If you mean like stopping people from stealing, volunteering to help the police, saying a prayer inside the Senate, singing my shamanic song inside the Senate, stopping people from breaking in once outside the building, and literally like facing an angry mob all by myself, telling everybody they're not going to break in, that also happened that day. It really all depends on what you mean by what I by your question.
Well, how you remember it?
Well, I remember it being a lot different than the mockingbirds in the media have spun it, that's for sure. The chaos and the violence that took place outside the building that day was largely provoked, as far as I remember, by tear gas, concussion grenades, and rubber bullets being shot into a peaceful crowd. It was after all that all hell broke loose. So that usually gets forgotten. I think that the whole thing has just been mischaracterized in so many ways that myself included. I mean, people think I'm an insurrectionist or a Republican. I'm a libertarian. There's so much distortion because of the media. One of the things I like to say is you don't realize how distorted the media lens actually is until you see your own reflection in it.
Well, now is your chance to be absolutely clear about this. Are you saying you did not go into that building to try to stop the certification of the accurate 2020 US presidential election result?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did not go into the building for that reason. And the fact that you still think that I did just shows how distorted the media lens actually is.
On that point,
because that was never my intention.
Jake,
that's never been my intention.
I'm just literally looking at what you pleaded guilty to. That's what I'm going from. You pleaded guilty to unlawfully obstructing an official proceeding, i.e.
the certification. Didn't the Supreme Court say that? But didn't the Supreme Court just say that is not a practical application of the law whatsoever, and that the government was bending the law to gain convictions out of people?
Give us your reaction to being pardoned for that day by President Trump.
It feels just like it should.
Go on.
Well, I think that pretty much says it all.
Describe your emotions when you heard.
I think I got the news from my lawyer when I was at the gym, and I walked outside and I screamed freedom at the top of my lungs and then gave a good Native American war cry.
And did you expect him to follow through on what he has promised on a number of occasions through the campaign trail?
I expect Donald Trump to be a man of his word like he has been for decades. And that is a track record that we don't have with pretty much any politician in D.C. for the most part. Very few have that.
Now, we all remember Jacob. He came dressed as a Viking and appeared to be ready to do whatever it was that he had in his mind he needed to do. He was not, or did not appear to be, a peaceful protester. This is the man that went into Nancy Pelosi's office, sat at her desk, and allegedly defecated on the floor. But now all of a sudden he's a changed man, and the first thing he wants to do is to purchase more guns. Once again, America cares more about those of them that voted for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump care more about releasing criminals back to the streets to purchase more guns, commit more crimes, while spreading a narrative that immigrants and other people that don't look like them are criminals. That makes sense to me. The math is not mathing. And if you pay attention to this person's demeanor, Mr. Jacob, he's giggling, he's laughing, he's so proud of what he did. Sounds like a little MH to me. And he was let free. Talking about he was in solitary confinement. In my opinion, you should have stayed there the entire time and you should still be there. America, you should be ashamed. Donald Trump, you should be ashamed of what you have done. Once again, be safe. Keep your children safe. Stay close to the house. And as much as you can, don't spend a dime.